Good Saturday morning. I am so glad that you have come into the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. I'm Leona Dooley, and welcome to the kitchen. Now, today, we're going to have some fun in the kitchen. You know, it's been a little while. We had a little blip that went on here in the house. And so, because of that, didn't move quite as fast as they normally would. But you know what? I am just thankful and glad to be back and doing the regular things that I normally do. So, today we're going to put together a bowl of bread, and we're going to have fun with that. We're also going to put together kind of a somewhere Greek Mediterranean chicken that we're going to put together in the oven, as well as we're going to also prepare some chicken and broth for an Amish chicken noodle casserole. So all of those things, I hope, we're going to get done today. So that's the plan. So welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. And so let's get started. Now, I was in the process of doing a few chops here for our vegetables. I've already done those that I'm going to put in the sheet pan. Actually, that's exactly what it is. I'm going to throw it into the pan and put all those vegetables in, put the chicken in, and we're going to prepare that. But I had a couple of carrots that looked a little unusual. And so because of that, you'll notice these I'm keeping a little large because we want those to come out just perfectly. But I did have a few carrots that were just a little funny looking. So because of that, we're not going to use those in the sheet pan because we want those vegetables in the sheet pan to be as nice as possible. But what I am going to do is that I'm going to leave those funny looking carrots off to the side, and we're going to put them into the pot where we're going to prepare the chicken and the broth for the chicken noodle casserole. And we're, like I said, we're using Amish noodles. I'm just kind of calling it an Amish noodle chicken casserole. Not sure that everything will get done. Good morning, Deb. Wonderful, wonderful. Good morning, Sue. Hello, Matriarchs Matter. Yay! 24 eggs. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my goodness. You dropped them? Oh my. Matriarchs had a little moment today. But you know what? We have that. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you? Good to see you. And I'm just so glad to see all of you right here ready for the kitchen. Now, I've got my pan that I'm going to be using. This is what I'm going to be putting the chicken in. So I'm just going to kind of throw the carrots in there just to kind of get them out of the way. That's enough for us and for dinner. These carrots are the funny looking ones are going to go into the pot. I also have a pot here that we're going to be putting that in. Now, I have some celery that I'm going to be using. And, you know, some places you're able to get celery and it looks so pretty. And other places you get celery and it looks like it's been on a diet. So I'm going to cut these pieces of celery into about 3-inch pieces. And they're going to go into the pan for the chicken because we want that chicken well seasoned. I also have the celery ends and pieces that I cleaned up, and I'm going to put them into the pot for the broth. Now, I also have some green pepper, and I'm going to get the label off of that green pepper. You know, sometimes they come off easy and sometimes not so much. Let me rinse this real quick. Okay. Now, so we're going to cut this green pepper, get him ready, and we're going to keep this pepper in rather large pieces. And I'm rolling it around so that I can get most of the ribs off as I slice it. So there we go. We got those. We won't have to worry about ribs. All of that's done. So then anything else you want to try to add, you can. So here's our pieces. They're ready to go. And I think what I'm going to do is just slice that in half and divide this into thirds. So we have rather large pieces. This one, because of its size, we're going to put into two and put it into thirds from there. So all of that is going to go into the pan. And hopefully you can see the pan here. So we're just going to kind of mix those up for now. And they are all ready to go for the chicken. Now the chicken has been cut up, it's been cleaned. I'm going to wipe off this counter really, really good. I do have some onions that I want to add to the pan because, you know, even if you take the onions out before you serve it, you are going to want to put onions into the pan while the chicken's cooking because the onion is going to impart that good oniony flavor. And good morning, Denise. I see you. Good morning, Patricia. Hello, hello. Where I've got my camera today, I can actually read. How about that? So I can kind of keep up with you and talk to you guys this morning. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this onion into fourths. And that's the way I'm going to put it into the pan. I'm going to keep it in kind of large chunks because it needs to cook long enough and to be in that pan long enough so that we can get the chicken ready. So it's all about that chicken. So I'm going to peel these. What are you guys doing this Saturday morning? While you're there, please give me a thumbs up. And if anyone's new on board, please subscribe because we are always doing these kinds of things right here in the kitchen. You know, it's all about the family. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to prepare for our family. Now, let me tell you what happened. I went to the grocery. You know, most of the time I do a pickup. But when I went on the website to order the groceries, I could not order any chicken. And I thought, what in the world? Why can't I order chicken? Well, let me tell you, when I got to the store, there was no chicken. And so I had to go to another store in order to get the chicken. And even at that, while they had a really good selection of chicken, there wasn't a lot of it. So I'm not sure if that's because of bird flu or whether they're having some other issues at this point because of, you know, gas and all those good things going on. Now, like I said, we're going to put together some bread. I'm going to clean off this board. And in fact, I'm going to clean it. I've got bleach in my water. So because of that, I'm going to get this nice and clean. And then I'm going to flip it because that's just what we do. All right. So we're going to flip him over. He's good and clean. Now, we're not going to take the chicken out yet. I'm going to try to get the bread started because that's probably going to be the part that may, you know, timing for that bread can be tricky. All right, so I'm going to turn you back this way so you can see the board. And we are going to put down a little flour here. I actually started this. This is a no-knead bread today. And I started this, put a little extra over there just in case I need it. This is just all-purpose flour. And all the recipes will be right down in the description box. so that you'll have those. Now that takes care of that part. Now I have my usual bread tools. I have a bread, this is like a bread whisk that has a wooden handle, and all those things I've listed down below. I've also got my spatula just in case the whisk doesn't do enough. So we've got everything we need right here. Let's see, let me read a little bit. It's good, so good to see Stephanie in this morning. Oh, Sue. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, you're going to take your youngest grandbaby to birthday shopping. Oh, that's always a lot of fun. I love that. I love that. And, of course, they love going shopping with grandma. And that's because they know grandma's going to let them have probably a little more than what mom might let them have. Okay, now, over the day yesterday, I prepared this dough, and it's risen, and it's been cooking. I did it an overnight rise with it. So I'm going to take this out, get it all out, and you can see it's pretty moist. That's a good thing, because then your bread's going to be moist. It's not going to be dry. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to get some flour on my hands, sprinkle a little flour across this, make sure I've got a little bit there. And the one thing I didn't get was my scraper. And let's see if I can find him. Well, it must be in the dishwasher, but that's okay. All right, so I did use it yesterday. So what we're going to do is that we're just going to put a little flour here, and we're going to flour along the way, because that's the thing about your, when you're doing your no kneads, very often they'll get very, very moist. You want that flour, that water to go through. So we're just adding a little extra flour so we can work with it. And we're going to fold and get it ready. So let me get a little more flour. That's good. So in here, I'm going to sprinkle just a little right there. So we're going to get that going. So we'll have some good bread tonight when we have our chicken tonight for dinner. So what you guys been up to with the summer? Have you been traveling? Have you been having great summer adventures? Because, this is the time. Won't be long. School's going to start. And, they're already getting the sports ready. One of my grandsons is a runner. And, well, in fact, both he and his sister are runners. But he does cross country. So they've already started practice. And I was a little concerned because of the heat. It's been so hot. And, heat stroke is always an issue. So he knows my line is always drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of water. Okay, so we're going to fold. We'll add flour where we need it. I'm going to fold. I'm going to put a little more flour. So we have it. Fold, fold, folding. Now, this was so easy to do. Basically, let's see, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients. You have 3 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. You have about 1 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. And depending upon the kind of yeast that you have, if you have active dry yeast, then of course it's going to work faster. If you have just regular yeast, it may take a little longer, and that's okay. So all of that's fine. So I am just folding, getting enough flour into it because I didn't want to start it without enough flour. So you're going to see it's loose, and that's okay because it won't be loose forever. It had good bubbles in it, and that's what you want to see, good active bubbles. So we're going to sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. And that also helps with handling it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now I have my cast iron brazier in the oven, and I have the oven on 450. 450. There we go. There we go. 450. Okay, he's workable. There we go. All right, it takes a little while to get it going once you're ready to work. But you know, you have to be patient with bread. You cannot rush it. It has a mind of its own, and it's going to do what it decides to do. We're just folding it over and folding. And let's fold over here. And you can kind of develop your own folding system as you go. There we go. I'm kind of rolling it around on the mat because there's flour on the mat. So we can kind of pick that up as we go. Plus it helps to stretch the dough. Just kind of roll it around. If it sticks, scrape it, get it going. And fold. We can do the top, the bottom, and then side to side. That's an easy system. And then I'm going to flip it over. It'll let me go. I hate that I couldn't find my scraper. I don't know what happened to my scraper. I'm wondering if somebody borrowed it. That's always possible. But anyway, here we go. All right, one more fold. We're going to go top. And then we're going to go from the bottom and fold it over. I'm going to get just a tiny bit more flour. Tiny bit more flour and fold. There we go. Now, we can work it. Now, plus with folding, that helps you to put it into its little round shape very easily and get it to a point where you're tucking and turning, tucking and turning, and that's going to help to tuck the top, keep it nice and smooth. That's good. You see how it's moving? That's what we want. That's what we want it to do. We want it to be able to actually turn. Now I'm going to take some flour and I'm going to dust the top, and I need just a tiny bit more to dust the top. Now you're going to want your bread to be floured, because what you're going to do, let me go clean my hands, and then we're going to decorate. Let's get those hands nice and clean. What are you guys up to today? I know we've got terrible storms that are surrounding our area, and it has rained every day this week. Every day this week. Now let me get a serrated knife, because we're going to need to see if this one's not sure. I don't have one. I'm going to actually use my bread knife, I think. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make a cut in an X, and then a line down the center of the X. And if you want to add more little cuts, you can certainly do that. Just be gentle. You don't have to do it real deep. You just want to add little touches that are going to add to your presentation when your bread comes out. All those little lines are going to show up. Okay. Now, let me get the hot out. Woo. Hot. I've got on the big gloves today because this oven is screaming. Now, you have to be so careful around your pan once you get it nice and hot and ready for the oven. So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to take the top off. Woo, can you see that smoke? And I'm just going to kind of sit it here over those vegetables. I think it'll be okay. Now, because the manufacturer says that I should not have to put anything in the bottom of this cast iron brazier. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to very carefully, hopefully, get it up off this board. And I'm going to drop it in. Of course, he's not going to act right because I don't have my scraper, but that's okay. That's okay. He's going to taste good anyway. Where is my scraper? Ah! Okay, well, it's going to be a mystery as to what it's going to look like. But anyway, we're going to get him in there. All right, he's in. I'm going to kind of play around with him because he's a little misshapen, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to take my top. I'm going to close him up. I'm going to get him back into the oven for the first 30 minutes. So let me get that in. Okay. And let me set my timer. Okay, so the timer's going for 30 minutes. So that gives us plenty of time to be able to get the chicken ready as well. So what are you guys talking about? Let's see. Let's see, there's a question somewhere. You know, it did rise. It rose actually from 12 o'clock yesterday to 12 o'clock today. And what that does is that it's a real slow rise. So it should pop. You're not supposed to have to rise again. It should pop once it's in that hot oven. So that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping that it will do. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Anderwill. Oh, thank you. Now, so we're going to do a little cleaning. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to get our dishcloth. And you know, I told you I am a Clorox bleach girl, and especially when I have chicken around, and we're going to be using chicken today. So I'm keeping my soapy water. So I get everything nice and clean. So I hope you will certainly stay tuned, because we're going to put this chicken in the oven. We're going to have time enough to chit chat. We're going to make some broth for a chicken noodle. We can either do a chicken and noodle just in the pan, or we can cook it as a casserole. So we're going to play around with that. And I'm even going to show you the recipe book. I found this recipe book. I was looking. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Denise. I was looking for recipes to add to our one plan, 1 month that is going to be reasonable in cost and also would serve a group. And I thought, who does that better than the Amish or the Mennonite families? Typically, they have larger families, and their food, I don't know about you all, but if you've ever eaten in one of their restaurants, their food is delicious. And so I was looking for the book that's called Lovingly something. It's one of their original. It's older. I know it's got to be at least 15 years old, but they have a book that just has just about every Amish Mennonite recipe that they use. And they do a lot of large group cooking. And so I thought, you know, some of their recipes are vegetarian. Some of them, of course, use meat. And the farmer's market that I go to actually sells a lot of the Amish products. And so I was just kind of led to take a look at some of the things that they do. So we're going to be taking a look at that over the next week or so. You're going to be seeing a lot of those recipes. And so be on the lookout for that. Now, we've got this pretty clean. And I've got the chicken here, got all the seasoning. Let me make sure I have both sides of this clean. And I'm going to put this back down just in case there are any splatters. Okay, nice and clean, ready to go. All right, he's been good and bleached. Now I have the chicken here in the sink, and I had already semi-prepared it. And I set it in a little salt water so it would be well seasoned as far as salt's concerned. Plus, you know, that salt helps to pull out some of the impurities that may possibly be in the chicken that you have. Now, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm trying to get multiple meals out of this one chicken. Now, this one chicken was $7.65. One whole chicken, $7. And he wasn't big. He was pretty tiny, I thought. And but I'm going to try to get multiple meals out of him. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to fill this pot. Let's turn on the cold water. Hopefully you can hear me over that. But I'm going to put in things like the wings and anything that's excessively bony. So the back, those pieces are going in. This is a piece that I kind of trimmed off the breast that still had a little bit of bone in it. And that's a wing. And I'm just going to keep the large, prettier pieces for our meal today. Now, so this part of the chicken is going to go, I'm basically going to have 4 main pieces to go in the pan with all the vegetables that are going to go in there with others. So in this pot, I've got all of those odd pieces. but there's still lots of meat on it. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to fill it up, just probably about an inch or so above the chicken itself. Then we're going to throw in some seasoning and get it on the oven, get it on the stove. Let's get that. Okay, there we go. Now, we got the water in, and let me turn you just a little bit. Now, turn this water off so you can hear. Now, we're going to season this, and because this broth is going to be used, the way the recipe goes that we're going to use for the chicken noodles is that you're going to pre-cook the noodles just a little bit, and then you're going to put them into the solution of the chicken, the broth, and all of that, and let them sit for a little while before you pour it into your casserole dish, and let them kind of soak up all of the goodness that's going to be in there. So we've got to make sure that this is really well seasoned, because it's going to do all of that. So I'm going to get a couple of teaspoons here because we're going to need that. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is to add, it is so humid here. I don't know about where you are, but it is really humid here. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of house seasoning. Okay, we got 2 teaspoons of house seasoning. And okay, let me go down the list. You know what's in the house seasoning. We got a little salt, pepper, we've got garlic powder, we've got onion powder, we've got paprika, we've got a little ginger, we've got some mustard, and we have a little bit of red pepper flakes that are all in here together. Now, because that was a mixture, I like a little extra pepper. So I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of pepper, because I'm out of red pepper flakes, so I'm not going to have those. And because there's such a little amount of salt, I'm going to add in maybe about a half teaspoon of salt, because while I want it to be seasoned, I don't want it to be over salted. So we have to be careful with that, and we don't need extra salt anyway. Now, I have some parsley, and I haven't had a chance to do the video on this yet, but this is my parsley that I dried. Denise, you'd be so proud of me. I put it in my little bags, I hung it up, and now I have fresh parsley. So I'm going to take some of my fresh parsley, I'm going to rub it together as I put it in there. I'm going to put a little extra parsley, because you know parsley's good, parsley and chicken. And my parsley was the only thing that really turned out well and in abundance. But you know, we take what we can get. And of course, we can always buy it at the store. Now, let me get another spoon. And give all of this a good stir. Now, if you have some turmeric, you could certainly add turmeric in here. Now, I'm trying to think. I did not put onion in here. So this is something I've got to do. I've got a couple of onions that I need to go ahead, and I think what I'm going to do with this, I'm really not going to be that concerned about cleaning, because we're going to have to do a little bit of, I'm just going to get the big loose pieces off. And I'm not going to worry too much about how it looks. I want it to impart its flavor. That's the main thing. So I'm just going to cut it into 4s, big chunks, and I'm going to throw it in there. Now, when I put this on the stove, I'm going to put the top on it, and to start it, I'm going to start it high, because I want it to start bubbling and to get all of those good flavors going. Now, let's see, we've got house seasoning, parsley, we had extra pepper and salt. Oh, let's see. You know, we might want to add just a little extra garlic powder. What do you think? I think a little extra garlic powder might work. Let me add just a little bit. Here we go. We got, a little onion powder, a little garlic powder. Okay, let's put a little bit of these in. So here's a little extra garlic. Like I said, it's been extremely humid, so everything's sticking. All right, there's a little extra garlic. And even though these tops are all nice and white. Sorry, guys. But we also want a little extra, let's see if I can get the onion powder out of there. Little extra onion powder. And I don't even buy garlic salt or onion salt because I prefer to add the salt myself. And that way I'm in control. When I add onion powder, I want onion flavor. I'm not looking for the salt. Okay, so I'm going to get the top on this and we're going to put it over on the stove. So I'm going to turn you just a little bit because I'm not going to be able to do both. And in fact, let's see if I may have to raise you just a bit. Does that help? Yes, that helps a little bit. Okay, so we're going to take this. We're going to put it on the large eye thing here. And like I said, I'm going to start it pretty high. So I've got a top on that. Now, I'm going to wipe this off. And we're going to be ready to put the chicken into the pan for the tonight's dinner, which is just going to be chicken and vegetables and oven baked chicken and vegetables. I'll probably serve it over a little bit of rice, and or not. I may actually make a little bit, just a little, girl, a little bit of sauce to go with it because we're going to have fresh bread, and we want to be able to dip our bread in something. So we're going to get all of that done. Now, let me wipe this board off so I can pull the pan over. Kind of keep things clean as we go, and just makes it so much easier in the end for all of us. Clean kitchen, clean kitchen. Baking bread, whatever kind of bread it is that you like, is one of those skills that in our economy, our world today, is one of those skills that we want to learn. And it does take a little bit of practice. You have to practice. It's not going to come out perfect the first time. And you're going to have to do it over and over again. And I call them my experiments. And the big guy laughs because he'll say, "What have you got in that container now?" And I'll say, "Oh, it's an experiment," because bread, when you're dealing with yeast, is always an experiment. Now, I'm going to take this chicken and I'm going to lay it in. Now, of course, we're going to have to season it. And we'll take care of that. But when we season the chicken, we're going to also season the vegetables at the same time. So I'm putting in, I have 2 leg and thigh combinations. And there's the leg and thigh and 2 breast. So if you have someone who likes breast and they don't like leg and thighs, they don't like the dark meat, it's okay because you got some of both. I was talking to a friend the other day, and her hubby isn't having any dark meat whatsoever. And we were laughing because I thought, well, can't you kind of mix it and he'll eat it anyway, like in chicken salad or something like that? She went, not at all. So we, as you know, we went to, we had a chance to go to California, and that was really a lot of fun. And we went to San Jose, we went to San Francisco. Okay, now, got some of that out of our way. So we are ready to do some seasoning. So let's do that. Because I moved you up a little bit, I can't read at this point, but I'm going to try to get you back down. so I can see. There we go. Glasses. Okay. Let's see. Rosemary, yes, you're right. And coriander, yes, yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the dresses. One of those dresses I can throw on and it looks fancy, but it's just a dress and it looks, I like it. So on our chicken. Now I'm going to start, and I'm actually going to use a shaker of the house seasoning. I'm going to shake a little house seasoning on because it already has the paprika in it. So I'm going to shake that on. And I'm actually going to kind of flip them over. So I'm going to have to wash my hands again in just a minute. That's the thing about it's not just chicken, any kind of meat. You have to wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And you all know that. But in case we have somebody on here who's new to cooking and being in the kitchen, they need to know you got to wash your hands all the time. And is it hard on the hands? Yes. And it keeps you. I keep a bottle of lotion so that once I finish up in the kitchen, I can throw some lotion on, and hopefully it will help to save the hands. Now, so let me wipe hands off since I've got bleachy water, and can clean that up. Okay, and paper towel. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to sprinkle a little extra garlic. We like garlic. See if I can kind of control it this time. Put it down low. We've got a little garlic. And I didn't flip this one back over, so I'm going to have to touch it. Okay, a little extra garlic. Okay, now I have a measuring container here that I'm going to fill up. This is a 1 cup measure, and I'm going to get some cool water. And I'm going to put some liquid down in there. But remember, I told you you want a little sauce. So that's one. I can't quite see it yet. So I'm thinking it's probably going to take about 2 cups of water. So it's going to have a little bit of chicken goodness. It's going to be down. That's going to have the flavors of the chicken, the flavor of the veggies. And we need some butter. Some butter. So let me get some butter. Now I'm going to take some butter and I'm going to kind of spread it over our chicken. I'm going to be generous with it, so don't panic when you see. And the reason for this, because the vegetables, remember, are going to need the seasoning as well. Now this, I'm going to probably use all of it. I will not use it anywhere else because you see I'm touching the chicken, I'm using it, and I'm putting it back, I'm actually touching it again. So that's okay because all of this will eventually go in there. But I just wanted to make sure that my chicken skin has lots of butter because that's going to help it crisp up as well. And that's what I want it to do. So I'm making sure I have all of that off. Now, so we've got butter that we're putting on. Have you guys been watching The Open? If you're golf fans or your hubbies are golf fans, maybe they've been talking about The Open. That's been kind of exciting. I was so hoping, I am so waiting for the day, and I just hope that, and pray that the day will come when we'll see Tiger back to himself. He's kind of been through a rough time,
with his body and the accidents and all the stuff that's gone on. But I'm hoping that he's able to kind of really get back into the game. And I don't think I'm by myself. I think there are a lot of people out there who are just hoping that he's going to be able to turn it around. But you know, when you have to have major surgeries like back surgeries and knee surgeries, and he had some parts of his body that almost had to be replaced, that it makes it difficult. It's hard. Your body just never does what it used to do. So we're hoping that and praying that he'll be well. Of course, he is well at this point. He's just not playing as well as we'd like for him to. But anyway, it will come. But there are a lot of new young men who are out there. It's really nice to see all of the young men who are playing, and very successfully, I might add, who are just kind of surprise features that are coming through. So that's always a good thing. Okay, guys. Now, our oven is on. It's let me look at my timer. We have about 7 minutes before we can take a peek at the bread and see how that's going. But in that 7 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and put this dish in, and then I'm going to chit chat with you. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me turn you around, and you can see I need some fresh. I've got to freshen up a few things along the way because, like I said, we're trying to keep things clean as we cook. And we want our new homemakers to know that, you know, kitchen work, while, you know, it is just that, it's work. But it has its advantages, it's fun, and you can make it fun. And I think for me, to keep a variety of different dishes, if you can find your 5 best dishes and work those 5 best dishes, you're going to see the smiles on your family's faces, and that's going to make you happy. It's going to make them happy, and you won't mind being in the kitchen because you'll want to see those happy faces again. Okay, now let's get this into the stove. Now I know this stove is really hot. Woo! And I am going to slide this in without burning myself, hopefully. There we go. So we're going to put that in for now. Now, it may be that I may decide later to go back and put some aluminum foil on the top of that, but I don't want to because I really want this skin to crisp up. So we're not going to do that right now. So we're kind of in limbo at this point. We're doing a little waiting, even though we've done a lot of cooking already. And so I'm going to take you over here, and we're going to sit down and have a chit chat. What did I do with my coffee? I have my coffee. All right, girls, we got to go get the coffee, and whomever else may be out. We need coffee. It's still early, and the big guy was so good today. He was so afraid he was going to make too much noise, and he actually left the house so I could have quiet. How about that? How about that? I thought, how nice of you, because sometimes he's just a little noisy. And you know, if it's not the television, it's something else. All right, now I think we can chit chat until we hear that timer go off. So let's see what's going on. You all in that dress? No, I am not in Oklahoma. You know, that's somewhere I've never been. I've never been to Oklahoma. I'm checking through and reading. So Mary's thinking about the same thing.
You know, guys, as like I said, when I went to the grocery, I really was, I guess, a bit shocked, but not really. For one thing, what I saw is that because of the fact that many stores are having problems with employees, the number of employees that they have, they are strapped. They are strapped for being able to get the supplies on the shelf. There's not enough people to do that. Uh-oh, I've got a little boiling, so hold on one second. Okay. Now, they do not have enough people to manage the store, to do everything. And so sometimes you'll walk into the store and they still have these big crates there of things that need to go on the shelf. And but I can tell, good morning, I can tell that you know, things are just a little bit better in that you know, you can find pretty much what you need. And like I said, they had plenty of everything else. There was plenty of beef, plenty of ham, plenty of fish. All those things were well stocked. The only thing that wasn't well stocked was the chicken section. And I do believe the bird flu had a little bit to do with that. So we may have to work around that just a bit. I know we're more chicken-based, more of a chicken-based family. So I did what Denise suggested. I really am not normally a canned chicken person, but back when we were stocking our shelves and trying to make sure that we had plenty of food for our family, I went ahead and purchased canned chicken. So just in case, you know, it gets to a point of where we are not able to get the chicken that we need, I can always pop out a can of chicken and put together a casserole or put together chicken burgers, or, really we can do barbecue chicken using canned chicken. So those are things that are possibilities. You know, there are several meals that you can certainly put together, and because it's canned, those meals are going to come together very quickly because you're using a canned product and it's already cooked. Thank you, Nefertiti. You're right. I'm reading where, let's see if I can get that on there here. I was reading where she's no longer shocked. Anderwill, what is your first name? I am a little disappointed that our numbers, as far as groceries are going up, but think about it. Gas costs are through the roof and everything has to be shipped. So we are suffering both in buying the fuel that we need for our cars, as well as we're having to pay for all of these things to be delivered to the store. So it's being divided amongst us, but every 5 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents that something goes up, or in some cases $1, it adds up. It adds up. I know. I had sticker shock the other day when I had to fill up the car. I wasn't lucky enough. I had to fill up the car before it kind of started coming down just a little bit. So when I filled up the car, it was at 440 something, and by the time they got that SUV filled, I was just devastated to have to know that was what I was going to have to pay. But, you do what you have to do. I tell you what, I am praying for those people who are over in California, because their gas was over $6. Now I'm bringing you over here by the stove because we're going to get things out. Going to take a look, I hope, at our bread, see how it's doing. Woo! Gotta get the top off. See if I can get the top off. Hot, hot, hot. Okay, he's changed his look, but that's okay. That's okay. As long as he bakes well, we're good. So I'm gonna leave it in there uh, so it can brown. We want it to brown. It ended up a heart shape instead of the round shape, but that's okay. Ooh, almost touched that. Let me be careful. So I'm gonna sit that there, sit the top there, and I've got I'll turn this down because I want it to boil, but I don't want it to boil over. I think I'll just do that. All right. Now, yes, pick up chicken today, because if you have not noticed the shortage of chicken, it's here. It's here. And so if you can go out and start to get some chicken, if you can find whole chickens, that's the best thing, because then you have all the parts you need, and those parts that maybe aren't your exact favorites, you can put them in and make broth. And so or cut it up and put it in a casserole, because that's what we're going to do. Good. Nefertiti's saying that when she goes to the grocery store, that she tries to pick up some pantry items. And she said every time she's in Costco, she picks up chicken or another meat for the freezer. You're absolutely right. That is the best place to see. And I'm curious because, I told you the big guy left, and that's where he was going, was to Costco. So I told him to look and see what they had at Costco, and if they had some chicken, to pick up a couple packages. And so I'm hoping that they are not showing those signs as well. R. Anderwill says that they've been at 650, and she found a pump that had it at 589. Wow, that is quite a difference. And so that was certainly a blessing. So I know you got all of that you possibly could. And sometimes it's about the day in the week as to which day in the week that you get your gas. And so you kind of have to play around with that. And we have one particular place here that if we can, sometimes I think, am I really saving because I'm having to drive over to this particular location, because I know they're usually, their cost is usually less, but I'm wondering if I'm burning up the savings in the process of driving over there and driving back. We do a lot of, yes, Kim. Yes, Kim. We do a lot of Costco gas. And, Costco is usually, it usually has, on average, a better price than most places. And every time we go to Costco, oh my goodness, the lines are all the way out to the back of the building, just about, waiting to get to the gas pumps. So, if you can find those little places that may be reasonably close, then you're going to want to, you will want to try to, get your gas. Yes, I'm in my vacation home. So that's why you see a whole different background today. And this is, we don't often get to come down here. Hello. We don't often, well, this summer, it seems like I wasn't so sure we were going to get here. After we had the issue after vacation and we were down, and I really debated on whether we were going to try to come to our vacation home. But the good thing is God is good, and we were able to come on down. So we haven't been here long, and we're just trying to get a change of scenery for a few minutes. But, being good grandparents, we've got some grandparenting that we're going to have to do. So
I wonder, I like being available if possible for the grandkids, and normally they are very close. And so when we're vacationing, then they aren't so close. So sometimes we'll have to go back and take care of them. Yes, we are. Kim, thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for your prayers and well wishes, because we had a few days when it wasn't, I don't want to say it was touch and go, because it wasn't, because there have been people with the C that they were down, they were on ventilators, they were in hospitals, they were just having all kinds of problems. So I am thankful that it really ended up more like the flu. It started out a little rocky with temperatures and those kind of things, but it was really more like the flu, a bad case of the flu. Nefertiti says she went to buy tires Wednesday at her Costco, and she said they didn't have any whole chickens. So she got tilapia. Yeah, you're right. You just get what you can get as much as possible. Denise said that gas is down. Isn't it terrible? $4.89. That is, to me, that is just absolutely ungodly. But we're thankful to see it because we don't want it any higher. Oh, $4.89. Oh my goodness. Wow. To the thought of $5 a gallon, and just think there are people who have to go to work, they are in businesses where they have to drive. And with that, you just have to be so careful. Now I'm going to go over here and check in the oven just a little bit and check on our pan that's boiling. So we're going to go over here on the other side. And then, let's see. Hey, Ronnie, gas here. It went down to $3.70 in South Texas. Oh my goodness. Wow. I like that. I like the thought of that. Okay, chicken's doing pretty good. Bread's almost ready to come out. He just kind of spread it out in that pan. He got real comfy. Now, our broth is bubbling, and I'm going to let that bubble. And then we're going to have to, I don't know if I can get you here so you can really see. There's our broth. It is just bubbling away. And I am looking forward to, I'm going to give it a little stir to make sure everything's down in there. And I'm going to put the top back on it because I don't want our juices to evaporate. We're going to be using those juices. I have these big gloves, but they're rather cumbersome. Okay, so that's on there. And let me check on our bread and see what's going on with him. Oh my goodness, time flies when we're having fun. Yeah, that $3.70 in the where are you in the Carolinas at $3.77? Huh. Costco on Monday was $5.99. Elizabeth, you're out west. I tell you, the West Coast, their gas cost is just crazy. Oh yeah, here we go. Let me see. Let's see how we're doing. He's not pretty, but he smells good. Now I'm gonna have to keep one glove on. Take this one, see if how he is on the bottom. Okay. I'm not so sure about this one. Sometimes, let me tell you, sometimes with no-knead breads, what I have noticed is that sometimes they come out perfect and sometimes they don't. And, we just have to play with them. Let's see.
Nefertiti, I am just so glad. Elizabeth, you're in Southern California. To all of you, I am so happy that you were able to spend this past hour with together here in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. And I don't take that for granted because you know me. I try to stick with our hour because I recognize the fact this is Saturday morning and we have a lot going on and on Saturdays. And for some of us, this is the day to get caught up and do all the things you need to do. Sometimes it's a family day and sometimes it's work day, depending on what you're doing throughout the week. So, I will go through, I will post everything. And so that you're able to see how everything turned out and what it looked like. I'll talk about how it tasted. I'll give you the recipes so that you'll have it, and any notes if there's anything that needs to be changed or tweaked. You'll have that in your description box. I have some things in the description box, but I'm gonna have to go back and add a few things. So give me a few moments to be able to do that. So we've got chicken in the oven, and I'm gonna let you take a peek at that so you can see it. We have our chicken going there in the oven, and it's gonna need a good hour. So it's got another hour or so. We have our broth that is just cooking away here that we're going to make our casserole with, and we're going to do that casserole together. So I will film that so you can see it. Also, we have our bread. As you can see, he's a little misshapen because as he expanded, he took up, this pot's pretty big. So he just spreaded his little self out. But you know what? We're going to eat it anyway. So God bless all of you. And like I said, woo-hoo, I am back. I am back in the kitchen and ready to go here at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. Have a wonderful Saturday. Have a wonderful weekend. And have a wonderful week. And I'll see you because there's going to be some things we're going to do on Monday. So keep your eye out on Monday. And and throughout the week. So I'm looking forward to seeing you right here in the kitchen. God bless you all. Mwah. See you soon.